Welcome to Fitness and Finance Radio. I am your co-host, Tony Scherer, and I am very excited today, even more than usual. I love doing the show each week with Jennifer and Jeff, but today, I don't know how they do it. A huge get for the show. We've got Nancy Sanchez on the show today. I will let them introduce Nancy, but first, Jennifer and Jeff. I'm going to start with Jennifer today. Jennifer, what's going on? How have you been?
I've been well, staying busy. We're actually hugely excited to make an announcement today, actually.
Oh,
I know. It's another big announcement. You got to put your seat.
Do you have any sound effects for this?
Well, I don't know what the announcement is. There's a serious lack of show prep going on here, kids.
I know.
I might have a sound effect that's applicable.
No, we are securing a property on Princess Anne Street here in Fredericksburg for the future home of Functional Food to Go.
Yep.
Oh,
pretty exciting.
So it's going to be a kitchen.
FFTG or FFG, Functional Food to Go. I love it.
GG.
So it's going to have a commercial kitchen.
Yep. And it's mostly going to be to go. It's not going to be a restaurant, but our next big project, our next big focus.
Yeah, like we need another project.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I think that is reason to celebrate. So
here we go.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Or as the kids today would say, magical.
It is magical. Wait, you're going to love this even more, Tony. The address has a 5, a 4, and a 1 in it.
Definitely.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you plan that? Is that the only reason you picked
I had no
this
idea.
location?
No, but it's 1504.
Yep.
Not in the same order,
So we have 541, 2541, 1504.
Isn't that crazy? It's all got the 5, the 4,
and
wow.
Area code of 540.
Yeah.
The numerologists out there are going crazy right now, right? I mean, they're like, you guys are on fire. Yeah. Woo! Woo! All right. All right. Yeah, just me trying to do that wrong. I won't ever do that. Don't start commenting, listeners and viewers. I promise I won't try to do that again.
That's great.
You have my personal commitment on that. So tell us, Jeff, that's a big announcement. You guys have a lot going on. I know we want to get into our show today, the passion of Pilates, and I assume that's where Nancy comes in. Why don't one of you tell us about our guest and introduce her so she can tell us about herself?
Yeah. So Nancy is a 3rd-generation Pilates instructor. So she was trained under the lineage of Nora St. John. And thanks to her mentorship, Jeff and I are now 4th-generation instructors, comprehensively trained.
Wow.
Nancy's experience and credentials, I'll let you share all of that with everybody. But I would love for you to kind of share your journey into Pilates and kind of what drew you to this method.
Well, sure. Well, first, thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here.
I'm so honored to be here with all of you. And well, the journey started with dance. I was a dancer, a ballerina, and then in college, I got my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Modern Dance, Performance and Teaching, and became a teacher, performed in Europe and here in the States for a while, and then retired, did something else, and decided this isn't for me, and became a personal trainer, which was a wonderful move for me. And soon after took a Pilates mat course, and I was hooked right away because the language and the information revolutionized how I worked with my Pilates clients. So from then on, I decided I've got to do this the whole way. So I got my certification with all the equipment, including the mat. And then I did it again with another organization. And then I did it again with Balanced Body and became a teacher trainer. After 10 years, I had the credentials to be able to become a teacher trainer, or now we call it master educator. And so I've been doing that master educating process since 2009. And it's one of my favorite things to do alongside teaching my clients every day. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, she's a natural teacher. And so I think that that's one of the biggest values that we got. We were able to, be a part of her classes. And I'll tell you, it really, really helps when you have someone who's a natural teacher, because then you actually get immersed into the subject, and so it was really important for me as I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but if you show me how to do it, it lasts longer. So that was a tremendous value. So so can you talk to us about your training with the third generation? Why is that important? Why should our listeners care that you're third generation? What does that mean, Nancy?
Well, I think it's important to understand the history. If you're going to enter into the tutelage or the school of a certain program, Pilates is what we're talking about. It's important to know from whence it came, from whom it came. So as close as I could get to Joseph Pilates was Nora St. John. And some of my other teachers, they had touched other people who knew Mr. Pilates, but Nora St. John is the one who authored and co-authored our Balanced Body teacher training program. So she's the closest that I've gotten. And I think that it's important because there is a method to the madness. And when you can follow the line of people and see how it changed, how it developed, and how it has progressed, the whole to certification, or at least in Balanced Body, you see how it has progressed over time with learning about the science, learning about the biomechanics, and how it all relates to the method that Joseph Pilates created. It's just important to put it all together in a story, and it just makes it so much of a richer practice.
Yeah, and I think by learning under your class, it for me personally, it's not just teaching exercises. I feel like we learned more in depth the alignment,
movement,
the biomechanics, the mind-body connection, and the mentorship piece is huge too. It's not just like the performance of these exercises, but how to observe somebody doing them,
right?
How to cue and how to progress safely, how to regress. Whether it's someone that might have arthritis or might have osteoporosis or might be rehabbing an injury, or that maybe they're an elite level athlete. But I love the thing about Pilates that I love is that it's accessible to anyone at any level. And that's such a huge benefit. That you can approach it, from any level.
And I think the interesting thing about Pilates is that, there's only so many ways that you can cue air squats. You know what I mean? But with Pilates, there's a lot more technique. There's more things that, you just have to be careful with, how you're teaching that it does enhance somebody's, stability and alignment and all those things where, you kind of have to know, how, a lot more than you do just traditional, training.
And I think, Nancy, you're deep, like the classical coming from the dance and the ballet.
Right.
It's like a deep classical Pilates background. And that to me makes the difference.
It's different than what we commonly refer to as Instagram Pilates.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I would add that when you said classical, the Pilates method, as I know it, and what I studied originally was considered the classical order of exercise. And it was very regimented, and it was a really great program to start with. And then the next program that I took was more what we would call contemporary, which means that we're taking the exercises as they are and as they are intended, and we're looking at them a little differently, like you said, and seeing what's going to work for more people. How can we adapt to help make it more accessible for people? So I kind of I went back to another certification later just for my own edification, and it was considered a classical certification, again, under one of, let's see, a third generation teacher under Joseph Pilates. Romana Krzyzanowska was a direct student of his, and then another teacher under her. And that was eye-opening for me. It was different than the first classical certification that I took. But it made me more well-rounded as a human being and as a teacher, to pull from the classical and the traditional, the method as it is. It is a system in and of itself. And then I also have this balance of taking the biomechanics and the science that has come in and being able to change it if I need to, for the right reason, with the right person, in the right moment. I love being adaptable that way. But I do see the method in the madness, the original, and I also love the more contemporary flavor, but not necessarily the Instagram.
Right. I love watching old clips of Joseph Pilates where he's just cranking people's necks down.
Well, we're not doing that.
We would never do that ever. But I always really, so I just start laughing. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, no, you're going to do this.
He was intense, wasn't he?
He was super intense.
He was, yes.
Yeah. And he had obviously a real passion for this. And, so I just wonder, your perspective on, how this is developed. Did you think he innately knew this stuff? Like he knew the biomechanics, or was this something that he was like, this is going to be great for boxers, and you know what I mean? Because I think that was the original intent, right? It was the boxing piece. But I mean, how do you think that that's just developed? Is that it's almost like a softer version of what or more refined, maybe? But can you talk to us a little bit about that? How where it started from him to where we are today? Is everything still sort of intact as far as the intent?
Well, there are some gaps in the history I've learned over the years. And from what I've learned and the different stories that have been presented to me is that Joseph Pilates created this when he was in the internment camp in World War I. He was a German national there, and all the people in his barracks beat the influenza virus and didn't get it because of his workout. I don't think that he knew the biomechanics and science behind it. I think he just knew that you have to move your body, get off of your chair and move your body and be outside in the fresh air and work out, basically. And I think that's still the belief today. Get off your chair, come and do the work. So for that has lasted. When it comes to the equipment that he developed from the springs, he took the springs from his bed and he decided, the soldiers that are in the infirmary in the camp where he was a medic or an orderly. He figured they're sitting there doing nothing with that broken arm, but they can certainly move their legs. So he figured out a way to help them move. And then when he came over to America, and he was right next to the ballet, the American Ballet, the New York City Ballet, excuse me. The dancers started coming to him to help fix them from their injuries. And of course, he was also, like you said, he was in a boxing studio. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with a G, but there was a studio where he would help the boxers. And I think that all of that has been poured into his method on the reformer, on the chair, on the Cadillac, on the barrels, on the guillotine. But the original work, the mat work, really has remained pretty much the same as when he was in that camp. Maybe a few things have been changed here and there, but I think it has survived, even though, unfortunately, Joseph Pilates, when he was living, didn't really make much money off of it, and he died penniless. It's unfortunate, but now, as of the millennium 2000, it has just burst into the world. It's only 25 years old since it's been, what I mean is it's been really popular.
Right.
I would like to segue on that note, like into tying the finance, the business, the piece together, like, and asking, was there a moment for you, Nancy, when, when you realized Pilates could be not just a passion, but also a business
vocation? Yeah.
And what does, in terms of like, what were some of the biggest financial or business challenges you faced early on in your Pilates career?
Boy, these are tough questions. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we started with personal training. I made the decision to leave a job that had benefits and all and do this personal training career. And when I started doing the Pilates, I didn't see clearly where it was going to go. So I just kept doing the personal training, thinking I'll just deal with the ebbs and flows of the personal training life, clients moving and leaving or getting sick, or weather conditions and the highs and lows of the business. So then when a friend of mine who was the director of Pilates said, hey, I think you should be the director when I leave, because she was getting ready to leave, because you're just so prolific, you're hungry, you're wanting to teach. So I made a very calculated decision to take a management job and teach Pilates after I was certified and continue personal training. And that started to become lucrative because I could get benefits from the bonuses when we would hit our monthly goals. And I thought, wow, this is really working for me. I can make a living doing this. And so I did that part-time. Everything was part-time, but I was working full-time, if you can imagine. Then after a few years, the company said, wow, you're doing so well. We want you to do 2 clubs, be director of 2 clubs. And then little by little, I said, hey, we need some help with marketing and promotions. And they said, well, maybe you could talk to the graphic designers. And so little by little, we created a position for me as the corporate Pilates director. So I was able to use my skills from my day job years ago and my Pilates knowledge, the combination, to really start making this my living. And wow, I was hitting bonuses, getting bonuses, and I was still teaching, but I was then able to give the clients to other people and help other people with their wealth, so to speak.
Right.
Because they wanted more clients too. And so it just kept happening. And then in 2009, when there was an opportunity to partner with Balanced Body and have me and another wonderful teacher together teaching the Balanced Body curriculum, we were bringing people into the fold. And that was yet another resource of income for me, is to teach those courses. So it just kept building. It was crazy. I didn't plan any of it. It just sort of everything unfolded.
Wraps up into do what you love and the money will follow, right?
Yes, for
typically what happens, right?
And it helped that I have a very stable life. My husband supports me. He was also a personal trainer, so it kind of helped. We met in the biz.
Yeah.
But he helped me along the way and supported my decisions to take this job or that job, or let's leave one club and work at the other club, and I'll be commuting. And he just supported it all. So that was a big part of it too.
That's got to help.
That's amazing. I think another good question for you in this stage of the game was like, how did you learn to balance the craft of teaching with the realities of like running a business?
Well, I was
another tricky thing.
It was a 10-year period or so, 10 or 11-year period when I was doing all this managing. It wasn't my studio. It was somebody else. It was the health club studio within the studio. And it was maybe 10 or 12 programs within the whole corporation. It was called Sport and Health at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And they had 10 or 12 places, locations, that had Pilates equipment. And that's what I was overseeing for a short time, like 2 years. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm all excited.
I love it.
Yeah. What was the question?
Balancing
Balancing the kind of, I say the art or like the craft of teaching with actually running it. And I know it wasn't your business, but actually the management, like all that effort that takes to behind the scenes.
Yeah, it must take a lot of work and time.
Yeah.
I was really busy. I don't think I ever worked as hard as I did in my life in that 10, 11-year span. Even though I wasn't paying for the bricks and mortar and all of that, I was responsible. I was the face of Pilates for the company and for whichever health club I was in at whichever location. And I was the one behind the desk, the front desk, behind my desk, out in the middle doing open houses and such. So how did I balance it? Well, I had to commute. So I had to be home and have time to be with my husband and hang out. So I worked really hard at doing that.
Yeah.
Didn't always work. There were some weeks that, I wasn't home till late and he wasn't home till late. And, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
I can imagine.
But I was really invested in it and I loved it. And you couldn't stop me. I was unstoppable.
I think with Pilates, I think you if you're not passionate, you're not hanging around for long.
No.
You know what I mean? I think you really have to love it. And I think the people who love it so much that they become an ambassador for it, right? So I think that's the value. I kind of want to shift a little bit to stay on that financial end, but I often wonder what people's view of major Pilates shops that have just tons of group classes that not as much attention to individual results, but still offer something tremendous to the community. I just wonder how that plays into the original intent, because people do have to make money, right? So businesses are created to solve a problem first, and then secondarily to make money, right? And so I know we don't have that same model, but we're often intrigued by the group setting. We want to be able to provide that, but it poses so many challenges. So I was wondering if you could speak to me. Is that what that corporate mindset more about generating? And it's not a bad or good question. I just mean it's not. I mean, let me rephrase that. It's not about being bad or good, just how it impacts the industry itself. I know that people have to make money, but how do you view those types of situations?
I think it all comes down to the owners, the people who are working there. There are franchises, there are places that, like you're speaking of that have owners and managers who really care. They care. They love Pilates in this case. And they really do take the time to make sure that people are at the right level to enter into those classes. And when they have teachers, they hire teachers who have experience. Usually those are the ones that I've seen that the members tend to connect with and who follow, because they see that person really cares
and knows what they're doing.
Knows how to teach you. It's when they get new teachers who have never taught movement in their lives that come in. And sometimes that presents a little bit of an issue with the reputation gets a little bit skewed for places like that are larger, because they think, well, the person teaching doesn't have that much experience. They're fresh and they're new, but they haven't been working with people one-on-one. They haven't done assessment after assessment after assessment.
Right.
Had the experience. So I think there's a happy medium. That there can be some good eggs in the dozen, as they say.
Yeah.
The good teachers that come in, good meaning that they're experienced and they care. Not to say that other people that are new don't care, but they just don't have that same.
And I think the hard part is the entry level for the cost too. I mean, if you take a look at a traditional Pilates one-on-one, it can be cost prohibitive for somebody. Where somebody wants to get some instruction and they want the movement, but can't maybe afford $160 an hour for example, for training, and which is happening in Northern Virginia, right? Northern Virginia gets $160 an hour, typically for, up to semi.
So that's for one-on-one training, but are there group settings? Is that
Right.
what you're talking about? which is more affordable to go. So for our listeners and viewers out there, if they want to take Pilates classes, there are group classes, and then you can get individual training as well. So you have a choice, right?
You do. And I want to say this, the more I learn about the different methods of Pilates and the different, the chair versus the tower versus the core line versus the arc, I'm actually in the process of doing this. I almost want to develop my own assessment to measure someone's ability on each one of those apparatus before I let them in a group setting. Because I will tell you, safety is so important. Yeah. And the value of working with someone who knows how the body moves and knows mechanics and knows the proper form and technique and all the way, the way the machine works is invaluable. And being able to invest in that for a little while before moving into a group, in my opinion, is imperative. I just think it is. I would never advise someone who's never been into Pilates to just go pay the cheapest price and go into a group. Yeah. I just wouldn't. Right. Because you need somebody there to really show you how to move through these movements.
Yeah. And I tell you, the thing that has been so much, has been a huge benefit to, Jennifer and I created a weekend series called Apparatics, where, we have 2 instructors for up to 6 people. Right. So it's a semi-private group setting to some respect. But so we feel like we're trying to create some in, sort of between in between, the cost of a one-on-one with the group, and also give the instruction a little bit more, ability to teach one-on-one. So I think that we're trying to create some mix where we keep the integrity of what we're trying to accomplish with people, but also make it a good entry point for people to afford. Yeah. So, and we could never have done that without Nancy teaching us the chair and the tower and all the fun stuff that we did.
And Nancy, one of the benefits, or one of your, selling points, so to speak, is you started as a personal trainer. I think that is a really important differentiator between someone that just only knows Pilates, because it really does expand on your knowledge, and there's a lot of overlap, but there's also you're like a step ahead when you enter into the Pilates world. You've already seen all the human anatomy and physiology. Right. You're not starting from scratch.
Well, think about how creative she is with the with Bosu. She throws a Bosu on the tower to get, what I mean? Like the cool stuff that you've taught us is, you would never have thought of that unless you were in, private personal training before that. People just don't know that, how those things work. So it is such a value. Sorry, we should let you talk. We're just talking about how cool.
I agree. I think when you have the opportunity to work with someone one-on-one, as in personal training, you learn quickly that this is not going to work, that's not going to work. What can I do quickly to either make it work for that person, give them the right prop that works for them, that's soft enough for their knees or their hips, where they can't kneel, they can't do this. And you come up with things. That's where I got it from personal training.
Right.
Doing assessments. Before I ever got on the fitness floor, my boss had me doing assessments and looking at all the machines and writing everything down about those machines. I mean, I got a really good, thorough hands-on teaching, and then looking at each client separately, and he checked my work and made sure all my fitness workouts were there. I really started right. And so I think you're right. There is a slight edge. I don't think you have to have it to teach Pilates, because if you've been taking Pilates for 20 years and then you become a teacher, well, you have a lot of experience. But boy, I can say as a personal trainer, I wouldn't have it any other way. It really has opened up. It did open up my world when I started teaching Pilates, because I could use that knowledge. And that's what's so special about you two, is you have that personal training. Then there's the nutrition component as well. And then Pilates on top of that. It's just this wonderful blend of knowledge, not just, I know how to move a body and do a squat. You have that depth of the knowledge.
Well,
and that's is very different, especially in this new cool class that you're doing.
Yeah.
To teach that.
It is exciting. And I think the thing is with personal training, you know how to turn a muscle group on, right? So you have and you're able to cue things differently, and you're able to see things differently when they're doing Pilates versus personal training. But hey, this, you should be feeling this in the lat, right? For example. And if you're not, let's try to focus on getting to having that muscle awareness or that body awareness to turn that muscle group on, or muscle specific. And I think that's helped us in Pilates, because we know those muscles that we need to incorporate into the movement to make it purposeful. So it is a great thing to have that background. What was there were some other questions that we may have had?
Yeah, I think the intersection of fitness and finance, we're trying to come up with ways to connect the two, and one of the things we thought about was long-term healthcare. And just generally speaking, like, Nancy, what's your view on how Pilates could impact long-term healthcare costs and just overall quality of life?
I think it checks many boxes.
Yeah.
You have the social aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You have the fact that in your case, two people you have other employees that work with you and are helping clients that really care and know their stuff, that they can guide people safely so they hopefully won't get injured.
Right.
Healthcare problem, right? You don't want to get injured. So you've got the social, you've got the physical, you've got the breathing. That's the biggest piece to me, is we teach so much about the breath. We do it in personal training, but in Pilates, we're really teaching about the value of breathing and how to breathe and how to fill your lungs. That brings vitality and energy. We're also teaching people how to hold their body in a balanced way, balance their muscles. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, but I think it satisfies that checks that box of, I'm standing better, I'm breathing better, I have more vitality because I'm getting lots of oxygen. I'm digesting better if I'm standing better. I'm taller. I'm not as tired. So boy, that's in health insurance right there. Me pay for this instead of paying for something else to apply. Somebody doing something to you, you're doing it.
Right.
Help from experts. And this is your health insurance.
Absolutely. Yeah, that long-term care piece is, being fall risk proof, right? I mean, I think balance is such an important factor as you age, and and muscle, or spine alignment. You just see the people as they age, if they don't do anything, they just start to curl over.
And bone density.
The bone density is another issue, right? I mean, these are all things that will keep you away from the long-term care unit.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, when Tony first he said Pilates, and I think, Tony, what did you say? This was off air. I don't think you shared it on the show, but you're like, isn't that, I don't know, it's just all for women? I don't know what your comment was.
Well, yeah, I thought I thought Pilates, isn't that just something created for Greek women? I don't know. It just sounds like that. You know what I mean? But it's for everyone.
Yeah, that's right. Remember, that's what you said. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Nancy, is what do you think most people misunderstand about Pilates?
They think it's for women. They think it's for dancers. They think it's girly and frou-frou, and it's just stretching.
Yes.
That's what they think. Those are all things. Oh,
and those are all myths and misconceptions, though, right?
Gosh.
These two set me straight. But it's also about, there's a lot of equipment. I thought it was something more akin to yoga, where you're doing different positions and stretching and things, but it's nothing like that. In fact, there's equipment involved, and you guys have named a few pieces. I mean, equipment, or I don't know if these are moves or poses or equipment, but the tower, the spine corrector, And you guys are listing these things off, and all I can think about is like the Addams Family's basement, right? I don't know if you've ever seen the show. There's a basement.
Yes.
The Munsters or the Addams Family have the basement.
Yeah.
With all the torture devices, you know, I don't want to be put on where they're going to stretch me on a machine. It just sounds like that. So people are afraid once they learn that. Nancy, should we be afraid? I mean, it sounds very intimidating. And these two have threatened to, they laugh and say, we can't wait to get you on this and film it. It's like they're making it sound like some type of medieval torture.
Well, it could be an interrogation.
There you go.
So I thought Pilates was some type of medieval, like the Greeks during medieval time came up with something.
Oh my word.
Love it. I've been hearing that since the 2000s, early 2000s. People come in from the gym. They peek in the Pilates studio and say, it looks like torture equipment. What are you going to do in there? And then the guys, I would say to the racquetball players, oh, come on in. And they'd say, yeah, right. And they would walk by. So, yeah, you're not alone in thinking that. It's funny now because it's a little bit more popular now, but still people don't know.
In all fairness, okay, just to be clear, I played hockey and I played rugby, and you know, some of the moves when Jennifer was teaching me originally, I mean, we could man up the names a little bit. You know what I mean? She had a Peter Pan at one point. And then
that's what I call it.
And maybe
didn't Sandy Duncan play Peter Pan on stage?
And then we have the cheerleader. So I was like,
that was a jump board move.
Yeah, jump board move that she called the cheerleader. So I was like, can we maybe rename?
So you fit right in then, Jeff, because you with your LaCroix water and your Stanley Cup and your LaCroix water came swashing in there.
So funny.
I said, you know, in fact, I said if my rugby friends from college could see me, I would lose my man card for sure. And you know, we went to do a workshop with Paula. Who you know Paula.
Yes, very
in Tyson's.
Yeah.
We did a video of it and put it on Facebook, and sure enough, a couple of my rugby friends had a good laugh over it. So it
was the side split, standing side split on the reformer. And you know, he was a goalie, so he has really good range of motion in that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do almost a full Russian.
Yeah, but you could have just said back to them, hey, you do a full Pilates workout and tell me how much of how hard it is. Yeah,
they couldn't, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Well, but anyway, it was funny. But I think those are the common misconceptions, right? So that it is girly or whatever, but it is not for the faint of heart. I tell you what, we went through a workout. We designed an Apparatics workout, and with Jennifer's mother, when we first decided that we were going to do this
in the garage,
and my gosh, I was sore for days afterwards. It was really one of the most intense workouts I've ever done.
And Nancy, honestly, we do credit you for having the idea to combine the different apparatus in 1 hour, because the studio that you taught us in Gainesville. We noticed that you would say, like, if you had a group of 4, you'd have 2 on the tower, you'd have 2 on the chair, you'd do spinal flexion on the tower, spinal extension on the chair, or what have you. You do different ranges of motion and we were like, wait a second, there's something to this. Like, if we could create, you know, a group of 6 people, each on something different. And that's why Jeff and I kind of share the teaching, is that the ratio of instructor.
Yeah, so let's explain how it works, because we have we have like a mat. We'll do mat, chair, and reformer are one unit, and then the tower, the core line, and either the arc
or the Bosu. We incorporate one different modality. You know, we may even do a cardio, like like burpees and, you know, whatever. We'll do something different in there, but we'll have 6 rotations. And I usually take the chair, the mat, and the reformer, and Jennifer takes the hard stuff. Well, now.
So I get the remedial.
But what's nice is the way we've designed it is that it's an AMRAP style. So you have about 7.5 minutes on each station and about a minute and a half to transition. So while Susie might get through 4 rounds in 7.5 minutes of 10 reps each, Diane might only get through 1. And that's okay. And that's because it's a mixed level class. It's okay. They're going at their own pace. We're in there to correct form and technique. They're safe, but they're each getting what they need out of it.
And here's the cool thing that we have we learned and implemented is that we did videos of each of the movements ahead of time in a video form, and we put it on 2 televisions, so a reference point. If we're teaching one person, someone can still look on the TV screen to see the movement the way it's supposed to be executed for what they're doing. So
but those videos are really more for comedic effect because it's a video of me doing the movement. It's less instructive and more for comedy.
How do we get those? That would be a selling point.
That's pretty brilliant, though, to have the TV and the.
It is, and we do that ahead of time, and we keep the program the same for each month. So Jeff and I like to go away the 3rd Saturday of every month. So we're holding workshops to teach our staff how to cue the exercises that we've designed for the month of September.
And by the 3rd week, everybody knows what they're doing in that, and they're mastering these skills each month that they stay with us. They're mastering those particular movements. I mean, you do those 4 times, and you've thought about them throughout the week, and then you have the video. We send the video out to them too prior to the first time that they do it, so they have an idea of what we're looking at. And so they're building a level of muscle memory in all those movements. So as we go, we can add back some of those movements and they'll know right away how to do it. So we're really trying to create such a well-rounded student for every single apparatus that we have, and allow them to go anywhere, if they're traveling and jump in a class and feel confident that they can do it.
Yeah. It's exciting. I always say it's like a playground. It is. I love being down there.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I love it. It's energizing. It's satisfying. Like when somebody realizes their potential, to me, that's like the fruit of our labor. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We credit Nancy to a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. So Nancy, if you could give one piece of advice, like to both clients and Pilates professionals, what would it be?
That's a biggie.
I know.
For students, I would say, notice what is working with your trainer or your teacher, and stick with it. Notice what's working, keep doing what's working, and ask a lot of questions, but stick with it. Be consistent, just like in personal training. Be consistent with it, so that you see the results. Continue, practice. There's homework, do the homework. But be consistent. And then for teachers, say continue learning. Most of the people I've met in this industry all agree that oh my gosh, I thought I knew so much, and now I feel like I don't know anything. I've got to keep learning. So keep learning, taking courses that stretch you. I'm getting ready to take a course on neuro Pilates, and I'm so excited to branch out into that and understand the body better. Or take an anatomy class or something. Keep getting excited about what you're doing. Like you're doing the core align there. That's exciting. Everything you know from Pilates, and apply it to that. And then you can also use your personal training. So just, I would say, keep learning. And keep
that's you're speaking my language with learning, because I can't get enough of that.
I can tell.
Yeah.
You are just going great here.
Where can our listeners find you or connect with your work?
I have my own website, and it's mostly for teachers. That's my big push, and that's Nancy Sanchez Pilates.com. I'm also on Instagram at Nancy Sanchez Pilates. Pretty easy to remember, Nancy Sanchez Pilates. If you can spell it,
Spell it for us.
Yes. Nancy Sanchez Pilat as in Tom. Yes. Nancy
No D in there.
Pilates.com.
Yes. And I love it. I'm on there right now and I see a photo of you in your skeleton suit.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's great.
I love to teach the basic anatomy for Pilates teachers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people that have a lot of experience get aha moments when they come, even, they just a little bit of information and that excites them. And I love that.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yes.
Oh, my pleasure.
Awesome. A lot of great information. So before we go, Nancy, one more time, let our listeners know that web address where they can go to find out more about you and what you do.
Sure thing. It's www.nancysanchezpilates.com. And it's NancySanchezPilates.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And shall we also do a mat class right now?
Oh,
sure.
Yeah. Another hour?
I'm out. Nope.
No. Next time.
But Jennifer, let our listeners out there know how they can get a hold of you and Jeff.
Yes. So visit our website at fbergfitness.com. That's F as in Frank, B as in boy, urgfitness.com. Or you can give us a call. It's 540-479-1877.
All right. And Jeff, for financial planning, they can go to theretirementsmith.com, correct?
That's right. That's correct. You got it.
All right. Have you secured the PilatesSmith.com? You should. You might want to look.
But we do have fitnessfinancepro.com that will be ready in the next week or so.
Yes.
All right.
So that will be the one place that everybody can go to for both Jennifer and I.
That'll be great.
And see all the media that we've done on Fox 5, CBS, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And get more information about us.
Media celebrities, Pilates instructors. The list goes, financial advisor. The list goes on and on. You guys are great. And Nancy, great to meet you. A lot of great information about Pilates. I'm sure our listeners have more questions and it can get a hold of you all. The classes you guys run, Jeff and Jennifer, sound fantastic. But that does it for today's episode of Fitness and Finance Radio with our hosts, Jennifer Scherer and Jeff Smith.